All conversations and information exchanged during What If Nothing's Wrong podcast with Heidi Haddad, LCSW, are intended for educational and entertainment purposes only. Please do not confuse this with treatment, therapy, or psychotherapeutic advice or guidance. The information on these podcasts is supplemental and not meant to interfere with the therapeutic work between you and your professional therapist, counselor, or psychiatrist. Please understand that Heidi Haddad does not maintain the role of your psychotherapist, but rather offers an educated, professional perspective from that of a licensed clinical social worker.
When your anxiety is crippling and you're stuck inside your head, find your joy, find your joy. When your man won't touch you but you wanna have a baby, find your joy, find your joy. When you're walking down the street and you get punched in the face, find your joy, find your joy. When you wanna fire a bazooka at your neighbor's barking dog, find your joy, find your joy. Find your joy, find
So hey, welcome back.
Are we
Nelsie
ready?
and Ronnie.
Thank you.
Thank you, Heidi.
Did we go somewhere? Did I miss it?
Nelsie, of course, missed the fact that we're recording again. She just somehow misses that. I don't know
No,
why.
we're recording now?
Yeah.
I did miss that. Hi, guys. Wait. I'm going to bring it down.
I already
Hi,
said
guys.
hello.
Oh, okay. Keep
We-
going. Go.
Come
Take
on,
it away.
Nelsie,
Take
show
it away, Heidi. I am going to say, because I feel that it is my job to say, welcome to What If Nothing's Wrong, the podcast that asks the question, what if nothing's wrong? And I'm joined, as always, with the amazing Heidi Haddad, who every morning asks the question, should I eat or should I shower? Should I eat or should I shower? And the beautiful Ronnie Whaley, who, does he play guitar or does he just have one hanging up behind him?
Yeah.
I don't know. Does he
Is it a
play it
cool
or is
statement?
it a prop? And me,
Player
Nelsie
prop.
Spencer, a woman whose glasses are always way too big for her face. Glad you guys are here.
Thank you.
So, Heidi L. Haddad, talk to me about last night on Twitter. What happened?
What happened is that we did the unconditional self-love and do you love with conditions? Do you love yourself? Do you love you with conditions? At Georgia on Tap wrote, growing up, my single mom would always if me constantly. If you lost weight, you'd be so handsome. I think I put those conditions on myself a lot.
Mm,
I mean, the antithesis of acceptance,
absolutely.
right? And
Absolutely.
self-confidence boosting. I mean,
Yeah.
way to tear your kid down
Yeah.
in 2.2 seconds.
Yeah, there you go. Welcome to How to Tear Your Kid Down in 2.2 seconds. We're going to start out with if you do this, then. That's
You'll
a
be
really
so
good
much
one
better.
to use. If
Than
you weren't
you
wearing
are.
those stupid shoes, then maybe you'd have friends. Just stick
That
with
could be our next song.
If you were pretty, then you wouldn't be alone and hate yourself. Yeah, just endless. So, okay, that's sad. That makes me sad. What else you
If you
got?
smiled more, you'd have more friends.
Right. If you'd smile more. Oh, if you didn't slump.
You didn't
Right?
slump. God, if you weren't
Right.
such a grumpy pants, people would like
Yeah.
you. If you
Such a
didn't dress
grumpy
like
pants,
that,
right?
maybe you'd be able to be able to date the most, what do they call, popular guy or girl.
Yeah. Some women are blessed with nice shaped breasts. That's the line that my mother gave me.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Some people have waists.
Yeah,
And
some
people
have-
don't. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's so true.
sorry.
Oh my God. Oh my God. So many ifs, so little time, so
It's
little
so
self-esteem.
It's just not nice. It's just not nice. And I am Sargy for Georgia
so
on
Sargy.
Tap.
Yeah.
Sargy for Georgia on Tap and all the people who are raised by parents who say things like that. And
Maybe if you had a dumpy. I've been thinking about that ever since Topher said it a couple episodes
Topher
ago.
was on fire. Topher was on fire that day.
Topher was like, I feel like he should have like back in the day, like an MTV show, right? Like we just got a lot of bling and he's just like one shocking
He's got the big
statement out of this.
chains.
Right. Big lot of big chains.
Smoking a big joint, hanging out of his mouth.
Apparently, dumpy is like a new word. Like I didn't even know that. This is so new that I didn't even know.
He's
Yeah.
got the chains and just sidling
heard
up to
dumpy.
women and saying,
Really?
move it or milk it. Move it or milk it, baby.
You know,
then
he's
just-
only had 3 hours of sleep for that episode.
I knew that something was up.
I liked him.
He had a bottle of
liked him.
tequila in the background. I didn't even notice it until afterwards.
Topher. Do we have to do an
Topher.
intervention? We're going to arrive. Heidi and I are going to arrive in Queens. Topher, step away from the tequila. Okay.
He was enjoying his break. That's what I heard.
But not enjoying it enough is also what we learned.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
He needs some dating tips. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So what
I
else
have
you
not
got?
had a chance. I have not had a chance to respond at Georgia on Tap, but I want to and will on the Twitterverse. But
You can respond right now.
I think I did kind of. I think we did. It's just
okay.
I'm sorry that happened, and even though you put those conditions on yourself, Georgia on Tap, it's now your job to actively reframe it and give yourself a new story. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
News
Absolutely.
story.
Not a news story, Ronnie, but a new story.
Oh,
Right. And
Where-
the news story is that I'm completely lovable exactly as I am.
I am beautiful
right now.
exactly as I am. Yeah, I am beautiful and I am so handsome and I am
Because
at the perfect weight.
even if you stop slumping and wear the right shoes and smile more often and lose the weight, if you still have those internal messages, nothing's fixed. Nothing's fixed because it's an inside job.
Yes, that's the point, right? The inside job is the reframing to yourself and recognizing in all the conversations we have had here, even that your mother or your parent has done the best that they can and they've left their mark in some ways, in a way that may not be, in some ways that don't feel good. And then the work as you get older is recognizing that it's not yours, that it was theirs, that they put something on you and you're now going to take it off of you, flick it off your shoulder and reframe inside your head and have a new narrative and a new story about yourself because
Right.
that story is not yours.
Yeah.
You don't have to keep it.
It's so true. That story is not yours. That story that was given to you, that some of this stuff we get pre-verbally, that the love is conditional. And so we're just carrying that story.
At Jelly Electric wrote, "It's difficult to unconditionally love yourself when you feel that you aren't giving yourself and the people you are close to a good reason to be proud of you every single day. It feels like a constant battle for quantifiable progress."
Oh, interesting. That makes sense though. I get where she's coming from.
I get where
This kid
Purr
is
is coming
catching
from
on.
as
I
well.
love it. I love it.
So catching on.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
here's the
yeah.
go, Ronnie.
So you go ahead. It's fine. No, please. You.
Well, but I think that it's where does it stop? Because for me, it's like whatever the list of things that I'm gonna say. Well, once I do these things, then I love myself. Then the list just refills. It's not
Mhm.
like because it's not like I'm proud of myself because I made my bed and I brushed my teeth and I flossed and the kitchen's clean. Yeah, but look at those shitty chairs in the living room. When are you
Yeah,
gonna
but
get
that's not what Jelly Electric is talking about. Jelly Electric is talking about the external validation. It's difficult to love myself when I'm feeling as if I'm not giving the people around me a reason
things
to be proud
of me
of.
for.
So
Right.
therefore, Jelly Electric is
Looking for that.
quantifying
Yeah.
what just their actions based on that.
right.
And I would offer that you can't, right? Going back to what we just said about George on Tap, it has to come from within. You have to decide for yourself. And for all the conversations the three of us have had here, you have to decide for yourself what makes sense for you. Is this job right for you? Is my behavior right for me? notwithstanding or not including when you're hurting somebody or acting not kindly towards others. So sometimes when people write, who knows what's happening, because they're not necessarily telling me the details of what's happening in their home. So if Jelly Electric, for example, was being abusive or doing something like that, then that's a different conversation. But if Jelly Electric isn't making per bed or making dinners when people are asking for dinners to be made, okay, that's a different story. That's not judge worthy, it's judgment worthy. It's more, okay, well, what's going on that it's hard for you to participate within your family dynamic to do the things that need to be done, or that there people are asking you to be involved in. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does. But I also think that if your day is set up like I've got to make these people in my world proud of me. If I can make these people in my world proud of me by doing A, B, C, and D, then I can love myself. I mean, it's the same thing. Right? I
Right,
mean,
right.
it's still conditional. It's still conditional. And the question is, who are you surrounding yourself with? Because if one is surrounding oneself with people that are waiting for you to
Just step up,
yeah,
whatever
like
that means.
yeah, and what if the people that you surround yourself are just like love you unconditionally? You know what? I didn't do A, B, C, and D today. Oh, well, that's okay. How can I support you? So maybe tomorrow will be a better day. I don't
I
know,
feel like
Ronnie.
there's a different angle because we don't have that much context, right? So like I feel like the other angle here reminds me of like a Chris Rock quote where he goes, "You can help pay the bills, but you still have to work on your wife loving you." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Mm,
just because you do what you're supposed to do, you still have to work on the relationship. You have to work on the dynamic.
Right.
And just because you do what you're supposed to do doesn't mean that you're excused from, being contributing emotionally or being supportive in any way, being
an active participant in the relationship.
exactly an active.
Emotionally.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. I love that. I love that
No,
Chris Rock said that.
me too. Glad you brought it in. And to your point, we don't know the context for this. So we're talking
Right.
about you can't judge yourself based on someone else's expectations of you. You can't, even if you're participating in the family or the community or the office or whatever at that and doing what you're supposed to be doing, air quote, that doesn't mean that you're also emotionally showing up or doing your part to participate in the whole relationship, to
Yeah.
your point.
Yeah,
And don't judge yourself for that either. It's to me, it's not about don't love yourself, and which is what you're saying. That's what everyone's saying. It's not about judging yourself for it. It's about if you're not doing something that you want to be doing, if you want to be doing something other than what you are doing, and you can do it, then what's stopping you?
What's stopping you? Right.
And then and it's not like, well, there's an answer and you just blow it off. It's, well, get to that answer and then take the steps you need to move around that answer to
Yeah.
figure it out.
Right.
So you could change what you can change. You can always change something, even if it's just the way you're thinking about something. Even if you can't get out of a situation, then it's how you're thinking about it.
My sister-in-law, who I love deeply, and I've known since I was 15, she recently moved, and she moved from a very big, beautiful house that was very expensive to maintain to another house that's still big and beautiful, but cheaper. And, and she lives on 1.2 acres of land with horses and dogs and cats. And, I called her and I'm like, how's it going? It's so shitty. It's just so shitty. And it's like, they're sanding and I don't know when they're going to be done. And I mean, I am making fun of her and I love her like crazy. But the point I'm making is so much of it is attitudinal, right? Your attitude about it. And so you can look that I live in this beautiful place and I've got workers working on my house and it's taking longer than I thought it was and everything's so shitty. Or you can go, well, where's the good in it and how can I change my relationship to what's going on? And I had a thread that connected this to what you were saying, Heidi, and I've completely lost the thread. I have completely lost the thread.
Two pieces of advice that my dad gave me, which I think about every day, is it's never going to be enough, and happiness is always a choice. So I feel like that'll help a lot.
Drop the mic, Ronnie's dad. That's
Especially like house.
Did you say
like your
Ronnie
house
Haddad?
Ronnie's
No,
dad.
I'm like, is this what's going on, Nelsie? Sorry.
Yeah, especially like a house and like building your home. People go fucking crazy over that. Like, oh, it's not perfect. Oh, wait, when it's gonna be perfect, we gotta put more money in this. And it's never gonna be enough. It's never gonna be enough. I've seen people like, go in crazy amounts of debts trying to make their home perfect, but then it's never perfect. Think about it. It's never enough. You just need cats and dogs, and that's
my
happy. Secret.
Then you're happy. You got little fluffy creatures.
Have you heard of I'm just going to add to that, Viktor Frankl?
Yeah.
You know of him? You know of him?
I do not.
He was a well-known psychiatrist in Auschwitz, in Austria, and who was taken to Auschwitz in 1944, and he survived the concentration camp and lost his wife and child or children, his family, and he wrote this book that, in the simplest of terms, talks about even in the most dire. And this is, I think dire doesn't even cover this, right? The most dire of circumstances. You do not have the power to change your circumstances. You're in this prison camp. People are dying around you. They're starving to death. There's just abhorrent and insane traumas happening every which way. And so how do you survive that when you're basically bleeding out in various ways? And he talked about the ability to change, just to be in your head as a form of protection and a way to survive that which is around you and you can't change. Yeah. And so that's on another extreme, in the way that Nelsie's saying her sister-in-law's, there are things that are happening at her house that really are annoying and frustrating, and being able to reframe it to be like, well, that's what's happening right now. Let me see how I can make the best of my circumstances, versus someone in a concentration camp who is not saying, well, that's what's happening right now, but okay, this is what's happening right now. And how do I survive? And trying to figure out how they change their perspective.
I think one of the things that he says, and I'm sure I'm going to quote it incorrectly, but it was like, they couldn't they could do this, they could do that, they could do everything, but they couldn't control what was inside my head. Right. They couldn't the one thing that I still had was the thoughts that I chose to think. Right. That was the thing that he still had control over. And which brings us right back to what you were saying, Heidi, is that we've got these if we have a story in our head that, you'd be so handsome if you lose weight, or so these stories that are given to us, we have to recognize the story in order to be able to change it. So,
right. Yeah. So in a concentration camp, it's so obvious that they're trying to destroy you in various ways, physically, emotionally, mentally. And that is the only thing that you have control over, is how you think about something. Your parents are telling you that you're ugly and stupid and any of these things, that you have the power eventually to separate yourself enough to say, no, right? That's not mine. And you're wrong. And
to recognize it. Yeah. Recognize that that's a story. It's not my story, and I can change it. I can rewrite it.
Here's another one. At Mr. Eric Vega wrote, is it possible to love yourself adequately if you are not loved or feel loved by those you love or need love from?
Whoa. Say that again. There's a lot going on there.
At Mr. Eric Vega wrote, is it possible to love yourself? Why are you laughing?
Because we don't need it. We just want to hear the tweet again, because there's a lot going on. We just need to hear it so we can.
I thought he was saying that he needed me to do the whole thing again.
No, just read the tweet.
It wasn't
for
clear.
Our clarification.
The whole tweet to me is including who said it. Be clear. Communication. What the person wrote is it possible to love yourself adequately if you are not loved or feel loved by those you love or need love from? So how do you love yourself? Basically, how do you love yourself if you don't feel love from anyone else? If you're not getting the love externally, how do you love yourself?
Gotcha.
Well,
And by people that you love.
Right.
Right. How do you love yourself if the people that you love and need love from aren't giving it or showing it from their perspective?
To you.
Right. How do I feel love? My God.
I've got it.
That's why I'm so like confused. But yeah.
So I'm going to be this person. How do I feel love?
Yeah.
If the people that I love and who I want the love from aren't showing me the love? Showing
that they love you.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Is that what they're trying to say? Okay, all right. Gotcha.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Then why do you love them?
That's Ronnie's right. Like, fuck them.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
You're not
why are you loving them?
This is why it's so complicated. Why do you care? Don't love these people.
You should love them. They don't love you. You know what I mean?
Move on. Find other people. Which ultimately actually is what I did respond and say, maybe there's a different way to think about this. Again, going back to the reframe. Or maybe you need to find other people that seek out people who will reflect and mirror the love you have for them back at you.
And don't you think that if you're in that dance, Heidi, that's a dance that's been set up when you're little? If you're always trying to get love from people who aren't giving it to you, and that's the thing that's going to validate you and then allow you to love yourself, that's something that was set up way back when, right? And you're going to find people that are withholding. Because you're recreating
what's
that
tricky
dance.
about that is that you look for, yes, I'm with you. You look for people who are withholding to continue to be in a relationship that's familiar and validates the story that an old story that you have.
That you're
and
not lovable.
Also there's the power of telling yourself that someone's not showing up, even though they might be showing up. So even when somebody does show up and is expressing their love or their feelings, you can't even feel it. You cannot receive it. You don't, it's so uncomfortable, so unfamiliar that you're rejecting it on some level. And therefore, even though from the outside, someone else is like, wait, someone else is so-and-so is really showing you all this. And that person's saying, no, they're not. They don't mean it. It's not real.
Right.
And then that person might go on Twitter and say, nobody loves me. Now over here, I have no idea. Maybe they aren't showing their love, or maybe they are and you aren't able to receive it. Or maybe they really aren't. And to Ronnie's point, love somebody else.
Yeah.
Or accept that they're not very loving people or not going to engage in that way, and you still want to maintain that relationship with them. Who knows?
Change your relationship.
Change the relationship. Right. Change your wants of them.
Yeah, like I have to cut people off. That's like that conversation we had about me cutting people off.
And sometimes it's hard to do if it's your family. So friends are can be easier to cut off. I think everything is so, I have to say, even just doing this AMA, but also in the world that I'm in, everybody has a bent as in perspective on what's happening in their lives, as we all do. And when people come in here, or even on Twitter, even more so on Twitter, when I get one little snippet of a sentence, I have zero context for it.
Right.
And so within the zero context, it's still speaking to this is about what's happening inside our heads and how we have control over how we see the world and how we see the people that are in our lives. And if we're surrounded by people that don't bring us joy, do something different.
Yeah.
Figure out how to do something different, whether it's your engagement with them is different, or you find new people to hang out with, or you hang out with them less, whatever it is, but you do something different because you have no control over anybody else except what your own behavior and how you're thinking about it. Beep, beep.
When you hear a beep, beep, if you're not watching us, you're only listening, Heidi has taken her index finger and gently touched the top of the Buddha that's behind her head and looks like sometimes...
Just get rid of it.
So we got to
just get rid
take
of, or
that.
move it,
Yeah.
or
There
flip
she
it upside down.
is.
There you
flip it
go.
upside
And you know
down.
what that does? You know what happens when you have your Buddha upside down? Everything goes haywire. Everything goes haywire.
Ronnie and I were on the edge of our seats. What does happen when you put Buddha upside down?
Oh, you don't want to
I don't
know.
know.
You don't want to know.
Listen, do you have something else to say? Because I'm going to switch
No,
it up
go.
because I
Switch
have
it up.
something for the next AMA.
Oh, excellent.
How do you know if you are suffering from anxiety or depression? How do you know what anxiety or depression feels like? And how can you tell if it's more serious than, let's say, stress or overwhelm?
That's
It's
a good
interesting.
one.
What are your triggers?
I had a student last night just say, one of my writing students, because
What's their name?
we always do these check-ins. And check-ins are like, how was your week? What were your wins? And it's around writing. And she said, I just realized that I've been living with this really high level anxiety around my sleep situation, because I've sort of solved my sleep situation and the anxiety went away. She didn't even know how high her anxiety was and how constant and relentless it was until it was gone, because it felt normal to her. Oh, I'm just, so I think that's a really good question.
I feel
How
like
do you know?
sometimes though, it's a quiet voice that gradually gets louder sometimes.
The anxiety.
Or exactly. Anxiety or stress. Like maybe that their fixation towards her sleep was something really small, a conversation, small like dialogue in her head that became such a louder voice that changed her whole day sometimes. That makes sense. It could happen.
I think sometimes it's also it's also the length of time. How long have you been feeling these feelings of depression? Is it a couple days, a couple weeks? Is it months that it's hard for you to get your head come up for air? Where are you with that? Or anxiety, how is it playing out? And I think if you don't know, that's a great place to start. And you're asking the question. And I would offer to see someone about it. I would actually say, if you really don't know, talk to a therapist about it, just to kind of run through, this is how I've been feeling. This is what's going on for me. This is the way in which it's showing up. Is what do I do? And that person hopefully is able to walk you through some understanding of what's happening. And ultimately, sometimes just get out of your head. Talking to someone about it, A, you can learn some tools. B, you have an opportunity to get it out of your head. And once it's out of your head, there's a lot more clarity. And the three that this, did I say A,
B, and 3? A, B, and 3. Yeah.
I'm noticing you do that all the time. 1,
all right.
And that was it. It's like you open the door and then you just keep going.
That's it. I don't have anything to say because I know it's a problem. I'm talking to someone about it.
Talking to someone about it. Good. I think you need to talk about it.
And now I don't even remember what my third one was, whether it was 3 or C. Doesn't matter. I don't know what. I know it doesn't matter. I don't remember what it was, what the thing was going to be.
There was never a thing.
There was a thing.
Okay.
So I think it's a really normal question to ask, especially since the words anxiety and depression are thrown around all over the place.
Now. Everywhere.
And it is they are the number 1 and 2, A and B, just kidding. The number 1 and 2 reasons for things that people are suffering from.
Yeah.
And also, as we know, people are on medication all over the board. All aboard.
The medication train.
Go. And I'm going to shovel some coal.
Anyway, lots of people are taking the drugs, the antidepressants and the anti-anxieties. Anxiety. I think I need to stop talking. So it makes sense that you're then saying, wait, do I also, what's this?
That's your hair.
Okay. Last episode, I was constantly touching my hair. Your makeup. She's got a shine on her forehead. Can you get in here?
I think it's completely understandable that people are wondering if they too are suffering, because do I have that too? Am I Am I also depressed? Am I anxious? I get a little upset when I'm worried about cha-cha-cha. And wait, I don't feel like going to work today. Am I depressed? I'm not minimizing. There are those people. And then there's also the people who are really suffering and don't realize they're suffering. So it runs the gamut. But either way, if you get to the point of having the question, seek some support, even if it's one session or two sessions of figuring out where you're at, to have someone say, you know what, listen, all kinds of stuff is on your plate and it is overwhelming and it is insane right now. And it's going to change. It's not going to maintain. And would it be helpful for us to figure out how to move some of that stuff off your plate, or
give you some tools,
just to talk it out, just to get it out. I know that for myself, when I'm feeling overwhelmed, if I literally write it down. And not even, I noticed recently, for some reason, making a linear list, of which I generally like, just felt limiting and
pressure.
Like I couldn't really see it. Couldn't see all the things. It was just like expressive. A big, right. And then all of a sudden there's this thing with
network,
this network with lines and circles.
Doubling down on network. And
I suddenly felt a relief. It was out of my head, and I could and I remember thinking after I did it all, then I sat there thinking, what else? I'm like, well, empty. It's done. That's it. It's all out.
I got it.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And then I thought, like, well, now what am I going to do?
Excellent.
It's also a good writing
exercise. What am I going to do with my time now?
And then you got some colored crayons and you made everything a different color.
I didn't need to. I just needed to get it out of my head. It was stressing me out. I felt stressed. I felt overwhelmed by all the different things that are happening that are on my plate. And I, like Dumbledore's sieve,
like
just
pensive,
took it.
The pensive.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Okay.
God, pensive.
I think that
you're right.
Okay, so I think we've covered the are you anxious, are you depressed? We've covered that AMA. Do you agree?
Not well, but yes.
Not well. I know for me, when I finally went on antidepressants, and it wasn't until I was
molecule. It's definitely molecule.
Okay, it's a molecule. So Google that image. Google image molecules, and you'll know what Heidi was talking about.
What's the word that you think it was? Ronnie?
Network. Look at this.
No. See, network is too busy. It's not network. Hells to the no. That's insane.
No,
this is a network.
I know, honey,
that's
but
that's not the right word.
This is my brain, all right?
Excellent answer. Excellent. Except we were talking about mine.
I think that if Ronnie is wondering, am I anxious? He just answered his own question right there.
Wait, Ronnie, on that
brain.
page with images, I see that image you just did. There's one that says inspiredtext.com.au. That's what it looks like more. Do you see that one? Above that one. Yes. It's like that minus the computers. Just the visual.
Happy faces.
That's what it looked like. Like me in the middle, I'm the earth.
You are
and then all those pieces coming off.
That's a lot simpler. That's organized.
Yes. Well, that's why I felt so relieved. It felt so good. I had never done that, and it just was it was a game changer. I could sleep.
Yeah. I did that recently too. I made a very extensive to-do list.
Sure you did,
it was more linear, but it started out with a goals page. What are my goals? Where do I want to be at the end of December 2022? And then from that goals, created a to-do list, and every different category had its own page. At the end of it, I felt so light. Similar what you were saying. It wasn't as pretty as yours, Heidi, but I felt this lightness. And I had taken all those things out of my head and given them some structure and given them a place. They weren't like bouncing around in my head like they are in Ronnie's head.
All right. That's fair.
All right. You guys got some TikToks.
What you got, Ronnie?
Okay. So there's this, I just found this interesting.
Don't set it up.
No, I'll give you need a little bit of setup, because if I give you no context, I don't know. This person got famous on Instagram. It's a woman.
Okay. It's a purr.
Yeah. So someone describe what you're seeing here.
You go, Heidi. You want me to? I'm happy
No,
to
it's
go.
fine. I'm so articulate today. Let me do it.
Okay.
Oh, no,
Oh.
Nelsie, you go.
Okay, it's a woman wearing a Brazilian bikini, very Brazilian. Like, okay. Okay. She walks out of the pool.
She did that on purpose?
And then
Yeah.
she lifts her legs and farts. And a very clear fart. Yep. And she's
It's
famous now.
amazing.
So this lady,
I feel like I feel my soul dying. I feel just.
So this lady's a multi-millionaire.
For this?
So what happened was she started doing
Can't
this.
even.
She started doing this on Instagram, and she labeled herself the Queen of Farts, the Fart Queen.
Okay.
And
okay.
she started an OnlyFans, and her
Oh.
OnlyFans is basically her farting in bikinis and stuff. So now she's a multimillionaire, and this is the world we live in.
Wow.
Excuse me.
I have to go lie down. I have to increase my antidepressant medication.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Even know what to say.
I don't understand.
You don't understand?
I mean-
what is there to understand? Really?
I don't understand. And it's like, do I say good for her? I mean, I don't even know. I don't know what I'm supposed to say. I don't know.
I think she beat the system. That's what it
Actually,
is.
yes, I do think it is good for her. Look at her making all this money doing nothing.
Nothing.
What is the
Just
difference
farting.
between that and ways
But
other
she's
people
gotta,
make lots of money?
beans and stuff to really upkeep the content.
Maybe,
You know what
or
I mean?
maybe she's just super gassy.
It's a gift.
Gas is a sign
It's a
of
gift.
movement inside your body.
It's a
It's
True.
not a bad thing.
But I feel like if you got so dependent on your farts for your career, you would be like overcompensating and like looking up what to eat for farts and like overdoing the fart food and stuff. It's like it's like
Dude, is
it's
that
like,
right? Is that right, Ronnie?
It's like like an artist.
That's how
right?
Ronnie would handle it.
Like a musician, like they when they go on stage and they have to take drugs to get on, they feel like they can't go on stage without doing drugs. I feel like this line of work is dangerous.
yeah. Well, you know what? And in the end, she's earning her money. I'm going to take us back to something maybe, I don't know, a little more serious.
Wait,
Is
no.
that-
Before you do
Wait,
that,
go.
do we think that she suffers from low self-esteem?
Why? Because she
Just
farts?
wait. No, let me just finish because
right,
this
all
is
right.
what she's made her money on, right? That this is it. Like, what? I mean, which one of you or me is say? I mean, everybody's got gas. I didn't say, how can I use my gas to make some money? Did never occurred to me.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe it's because she's got a what's it called? What's the
dumpy?
The
She's got
dumpy?
the dumpy.
She's got a
She's got a
dumpy.
heck of a dumpy.
And does she feel good about herself that this is what she's doing for a living? I'm not saying she shouldn't. I wouldn't
You're
use
just
the S
wondering
word.
if
I'm
she
just
does.
wondering. We're
Yeah.
just bringing some therapeutic angle to this.
Trying
And,
desperately.
I'm sprinkling some of my and what was her childhood like that brought her to this place?
Well, it's so
And
funny because I was thinking,
let's bring her on the podcast.
let's get her on. She's probably
I think
impossible
she's
to
too
book
big
her.
for us.
Probably
she has
impossible to book her.
500,000 followers.
Here's my question.
And everyone says, "Can come be on my podcast?" We don't know that. Let's ask. Reach out.
Here's
Shweta.
how I think she came to become. She became the queen of
The fart
farts.
queen. Yeah.
Is that she knew she's in this world, she's in this Instagram, TikTok world where you can monetize a part of your body. She's got a great dumpy. So she just started, right? She just started
Yeah.
posting videos of her ass. Oh, get me walking out of the pool. Oh, get me. And then one time she's walking out of the pool and she's like, I'm just going to let it go. She posted that, fucking blew up. And that's how it happened. I don't think she planned it.
Also, by the way,
Guess.
you know how there's this a gendered perspective on gas? Only little boys like farts. Not true.
Yeah.
Who
Not
says
true,
that?
obviously.
Farts are amazing. Farts are great.
They are pretty
Makes
funny.
everyone human, you know?
They can be
We're
fun.
all
They're
the
funny.
same.
They're funny.
They're
They're
hilarious.
Yeah. But people say, oh, boys
in their
fart.
farts. Yeah. Boys in their bathroom humor. Okay. All right. Enough of her. Oh my God. Ronnie, stop. Stop it.
That's not even her hair. She put on hair for that.
Oh God. That was your takeaway? That wasn't even her hair. Just so you know, that one was her farting in water, so we got to see the bubbles. Okay,
from behind, of course.
I just want to say that I'm no longer a part of this podcast. I'm officially.
That's fine. You know what? We're gonna have her come on and take Nelsie's place. We're not gonna have her be a guest.
Let's say her mic won't be in her face. Let's just say that.
Oh God. Now, let me just say that when reality TV came along and people got famous for doing absolutely nothing, it killed a part of me. Like, and
because your game show.
No, because I'm an actor and a playwright, and
put effort into content.
Because I put effort into content, because I wrote a play, because I did stand up, because I went to open mics, because I wrote a screenplay, I wrote a novel that took me hours and hours and hours of writing and rewriting. And
decide what someone's gonna like.
And then the Kardashians got famous for what? For what? I like, and I got no person.
Yeah.
I think Chloe, blah, blah, blah. These girls don't have personalities. They have lips.
Yeah, but those personalities, people emulate that because they want to be that. They're selling a lifestyle. They're selling a lifestyle, selling an image, you know? Be like me, you know? Yeah. And they give me all your money, you know?
It took me 10 years to let go of the anger and resentment that I had around that.
Well, and it's not, listen, it's not their fault. Back. It's not their fault. It's the people who watch that shit. The problem is that people love it. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's not like there's not a choice these days.
But it just keeps devolving.
It's evolving.
Devolving versus evolving. Where now someone is a multimillionaire because she's farting on camera. I don't know. I literally feel heartsick. I don't know what to do. I don't necessarily feel sad for her. I feel what's happened to society is and yet people aren't
Nelsie,
going to the movies.
It's just farts, Nelsie.
They're not going to the movies. They're not buying books.
It's just farts. It's just farts. Don't take it too seriously. It's just farts.
So I went to the Banksy exhibit.
Yes.
And there was so it's a picture of a Paris Hilton CD, debut album.
Blur this.
Why?
Her nipples are showing.
Right. So this is the art that I guess maybe I don't know if you're allowed to do this, but it's
censor it.
So Banks, well, the original album is her censored. Mm-hmm. Is not, you don't actually see them, but he redid this, and then it says Paris Hilton debut album featuring Why Am I Famous? What have I done? And what am I for? So
Thank you, Banksy.
Yeah.
Thank you, Banksy.
So does that sum up Summate? Anything?
That makes me feel so good.
You have to go see that, Nelsie. You have to go see this exhibit. It's really amazing. Yeah.
Good. Okay. I feel better. I really, that healed my heart.
Yeah.
Thank you.
He did that for me through the whole thing.
Okay.
There's so many amazing things. All right. Jazz dinner.
So let's
learn to Fosse like a pro.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
Do this one because it's really good.
What is she?
She's just a TikTok person that is sort of embodying this whole personality, this dancer, this sort of type of person that doesn't exist anymore, that maybe she was really happening in like the late 60s or the early 70s. And she's just created this persona, and she's famous. She's not as famous as Fart Girl or Fart Queen, but she's really funny. Like, she's got this character and she's just run with it.
Gassy Dumpy.
Yeah.
Gas
Gassy dumpy.
Dumpy
And
gas
she's somebody
Gas
on
dump.
TikTok that makes me happy, that makes me go like, this is why I love TikTok, because you can just put on like a bad leotard, some fake eyelashes, and a wig that cost you $10.99, but create this persona and be very entertaining, be smart and funny, and sort of do a send up on something. Like, this is when and why I love TikTok, because she's fabulous. So play this.
Start with a move popularized by Fosse, jazz hands. Not one to rest on his laurels, Fosse kept innovating with moves like jazz neck, jazz crotch, and jazz dinner. Next, try soft-boiled egg hands, a Fosse technique that can be found in his routines. The rich man's frug, and someone gave whiskey to the orangutan. Then, move on to the broken doll walk. You'll have mastered this move when you look like you're trying to rush aboard a subway train while keeping a chocolate cream egg in your beehole. Now you can blaze through the full repertoire of Fosse steps. The rake, the drip, the crane kick, baby made of noodles. Turn down your TV, Mrs. Rosenbaum. The downstairs neighbors lament. Sis boom sass, razzamaflaz, farfloof and kerzow. And I can quit taking these diet pills anytime I want. This is your gal Barbara saying, diddle 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 diddle. That jazz.
Okay. Now,
What?
am I right?
That's awesome.
What's Fosse?
He was
Ronnie.
You want to tell him?
Yeah, Fosse, Bob Fosse was one of the most famous and innovative choreographers in the 60s and 70s. And if you've never seen Damn Yankees, see it. He choreographed that. He choreographed, oh my God, I'm drawing a blank. Well, there was Dancin', which was on Broadway forever, which was a bunch of different Fosse musicals, and like a collection of different Fosse musicals. But he, Cabaret was Fosse, yes. And he was really famous for like Just a Shoulder. And there's actually, I think
a lot of those jazz routine, a lot of the jazz that she just showed was part of
is actually Bob Fosse stuff. Pajama Game, Damn Yankees,
all right,
How to
I think
Succeed
we've
in
made
Business.
I think you made it, right? I think you made
Okay,
your point.
sorry.
He doesn't know. He doesn't know what you're talking about anymore.
This famous. Okay, cut all that out. Oh, Bob Fosse is a famous Broadway choreographer who did innovative stuff.
Okay.
Chicago, right. Pajama Game, Damn Yankees.
All right.
And so she is like as if she's an ex-Fosse dancer. I don't know. Am I just
asked
old?
who Fosse was. He just asked who Fosse was.
And I answered
Bob Fosse was a choreographer from back in the day. Jazz choreographer.
Okay. Oh, you are going to have so much trouble editing this, Ronnie, and I'm so sorry. But
anyway, she's funny.
Thank you. She's funny.
Yeah.
She's talented. She's smart. She's created a character. Her I love. Her I will have lunch with. And, Queen of Farts, I don't hate her, but I just think that she's maybe just... I don't know.
I don't hate her.
My thing about that is like, she wouldn't be making, Fart Queen wouldn't be making so much money if people didn't want it. You know what I mean? I think it's humans.
Yeah, okay.
It's humans.
Right. Humans are the problem. It's not her specifically that's the problem.
No, I think she's taking advantage of society. You know what I mean? All right.
It has been a pleasure. It has really been a pleasure, Nelsie and Ronnie. And see you next week when Nelsie has smaller glasses.
And Heidi has bigger hair.
When you're spooning with a stranger and they won't let you kiss them, find your joy. When your house reeks of weed and your kids hallucinating, find your joy. Find your joy. When you're sick, you're dick and skimpy, when your dog likes Jiffy, find your joy.
You've been listening to the What If Nothing's Wrong podcast with Heidi Haddad, LCSW, Nelsie Spencer, that's me, and Ronnie Whaley. Tweet us and join Heidi's weekly AMAs on Twitter at Heidi L. Haddad, or tweet the What If Nothing's Wrong podcast at WINW That's at WINW Pod on Twitter. You can also email us at whatifnothingswrong@gmail.com. The What If Nothing's Wrong podcast is produced and edited by the amazing Ronnie Whaley.